talking about politics. Yes or no? Literally. I was just in this conversation with this guy and I felt pretty uncomfortable. And that was because he really wanted to talk about politics and about religion. Um, so generally, I don't mind talking about religion. I'm actually quite interested about the subjects. But the fact that he was trying to kind of push me in a way of that there is a God made me feel very uncomfortable. And I think that is also the thing with talking about politics. Like, a lot of the times, people that would want to talk about politics with me, they have a strong opinion. And I think the thing that I don't like is if people try to force their opinions onto me. And that is quite difficult because, of course, with politics, there is like debating, right? Um, but I think that politics is such difficult subjects because if you, for me at least, if I'm thinking like, how would I be able to talk about politics with people? I would need to do so much research because politics is so big. It's such a big topic. And then, for instance, this person would then tell me, like, what else would you talk about if not politics? And like saying, like, I'm not interested in too much small talk. I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like, I don't small talk all too much. I do like talking about other topics. Um, just like we did the other evening, we were talking about a bunch of more deep stuff. Um, but politics, it is so difficult because I can have like a certain view on things, but then at the same time, I think if I would just, if I were to say my view on politics, I feel like it's not even as different in any country, in any place, in any. Oof, it's so big. Like, even if I would formulate like a strong opinion, then I find it hard when other people have like a very strong opinion. For me, I always feel like maybe a bit attacked, or like my opinion is wrong, or I also feel like I am not allowed to formulate an opinion and tell others about it if I'm not like 100% sure and not 100% like dig deep into that subject. But I think I'm not the only one who feels that way because a lot of the people that want to talk politics, they are very certain about their view on politics, which then also makes it hard for me to talk to them about it because I don't know, I feel like it's really hard to be in an environment where there is a very clear right or wrong, which I found hard to believe with politics because, for instance, the left or right, up or down or all around, like anything has their pros and cons, and like if you need to like choose like, oh my god, left is the best or right is the best or this view is the best, is that view going to work for the whole world or for like everywhere, for each country and for each culture and for each person? Every person has different like upbringings and different um different like if they have money or not, basically. And like different chances, really. um which makes me just very uncomfortable with the topic. And then for me, I raised this question within myself: am I not avoiding, am I not just like avoiding this topic of politics? Should I not like dive deeper into this? Should I not be talking to this person more? And then I talked to a friend of mine about this, and then it kind of made me realize, like, hey, I'm not necessarily against this topic, but it does depend on the type of people I talk to about it. It is hard. Like, I have not found a lot of people that would want to talk politics, but then also be open and be like, hey, this is my vision, but, you know, how do you feel? Or, and then without really pushing this vision. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it is, it's a difficult subject. It's such a difficult subject. And then with religion too, like, I was saying, like, no, like, right now I don't necessarily believe in a God. I do believe in that there is more than we can see, and I believe in energies, and I believe in the universe, and like, I was like talking about this topic, but then I felt like this other person was not really even open to hearing like my view on that, because they were too occupied with trying to formulate what I was saying, reformulate it into, oh, but then you do believe in a God, because would you then say you're an atheist, or da 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 da? And I'm like, oh, but can't I just have my point of view? Do I need to attach the word God to it? Like, that would make you feel better. That would make you feel validated. But for me, I do not feel comfortable with the word God. That just does not touch my heart. Like, that just not, it's not working for me. But if that works for you, that's totally fine. Like, I'm not attacking anything that you're saying. I'm not saying that is not true. I'm just saying what resonates with me and how I live my life. It is just this thing of like, when am I comfortable in my beliefs, and when would I be open to learn more and, you know, evaluate those beliefs? And that is very interesting. And for me, my belief system changes. It changes when I grow older. It changes with my experiences. And it doesn't always change when having a conversation where there is one person like really convinced of one thing. Then it just kind of makes me feel overwhelmed. Like, oh, I need to believe this now. And oh, I think I would be more into this topic if it is about curiosity, both people having a curiosity about the topic and wanting to evaluate the topic and talk about it, and thinking more in a way of like, but it could be this. Yeah, but it could also be this. And yeah, what if like a left way of thinking, yeah, it's really good for this, and this way, but then you do have the struggle in this form, and that's where I understand like the right side, and that and this is good. And like, for me, like, that's so weird, like literally just talking about it in this way got me more excited in talking about that topic. It is so weird, like just me talking to this camera right now. Like, I was like, why am I even still talking? Like, what I'm saying is just a whole lot of, I don't know, and it's difficult, but I just thought, let's just see what's happening, you know? And it is, like, for me, I just want my mind to be prickled more in that way, instead of like somebody being like, this is how it is, and that's my belief, and because this, and this. More like, this is happening in the world, or like, this is happening in this, and how do you feel about that? Or what do you think? Or what do you think that they could do? And then I would be way more interested in like thinking about this topic. Like, for instance, if I would now have like the current thing of Trump, like what do I think about what's happening with that and the specific things, and then I would listen to these different sides, and then I could be like, honestly, I feel like it's pretty awful for, you know, like for the people that got like accidentally killed, perhaps. But at the same time, I understand this and this. And then the other person in the conversation could then also bring up their view and what like they understood of the situation. And then it could be like a way more interesting topic, I think, because then it feels like together you are kind of searching for more clarity and more information, and then still you can kind of result in like, okay, maybe we don't have the same opinion, or maybe you can get to like this sort of middle ground where I would understand you and you would understand me. And I think that that is more something I am comfortable in. But then at the same time, if you're always talking and searching, when are you gonna make like a real decision? If you're always understanding both sides, right? If you're always talking and no action. So, and that is just very interesting, because then you go and talk to more people and you go and get more variables and you go and compare and see about results, and that's where you would make like big politic decisions. But you know, if a random person starts talking to me about politics, I'm just like, where to start? Like, if they would give me their full on opinion, for me it's more like, I need to get there. I need to get to my opinion. Like, because I would not be able to give you my opinion like right here, right in this moment. Like, need to be more informed, need to talk more about that. And then another person would then say, why are you not more informed? Well, let me tell you, if I were to be ready for every person that would ever ask me my opinion on anything that's happening in the world of politics right now, I think my brain would explode. And that's like, I think my priorities are a bit elsewhere. Like, because the world, there is so much shit going on in the world, but then at the same time, there's so much beauty going on in the world. But usually politics go about negative things in the world, and then honestly, there are so many countries, there are so many cultures, there's so many wars, there's so many stuff. There's so much stuff that's like happening. And I feel like I'd go insane if I would even be able to fully have backed arguments about like all of these topics in the world. And then I think right now for me it's important that I learn to live with myself and the people around me, and that I feel good, or that I learn, or that I make impacts in my own life or in other people's life in the way that I can make that impact. And you know, I might not ever be able to create world peace. But you know, I could do other things. And I think for me, it is just not worth it, not my priority to research all things in politics in life. And yeah, would I like to be challenged by somebody to talk about politics sometimes? I think yes. But it's really about the way to go about it. For me, it would not be with a person that is like has a very extreme, like immediate like opinion about something, because I need to get there to my opinion. So I'm gonna be there like, sure, you've got a point in that, but you know, I didn't really have time to think about my side. And like immediately like that feeling of like there needing to be sides, like I think it's just interesting to think about all these different possibilities and aspects and how we could all like see some things through each other's eyes and have conversations about that, but in an open environment and like starting small or like in everyday life. And you know how big world leaders make certain decisions to do certain things, it is just like it's so hard to have like a this is a right and this is a wrong, because there is so much nuance to everything. Well, damn. So, and then there's also this, it's just the part that's with me too. Like, I can become very insecure when people are very like strong, opinionated. It will make me feel a little bit small. Like I am supposed to do something, or I'm supposed to know something, I'm supposed to talk about this topic. Well, in reality, it is also for me, I guess, to learn and to set my own boundaries and to be like, you know what? Honestly, I don't want to talk about this topic right now. And then it's fine that it's going to be a little bit awkward, maybe. But I'm just not ready for that topic. And sometimes, even later in that conversation, some idea might have sparked in the back of my mind. I'm like, you know what, I kind of am curious about like where did your opinion come from on that subject, and I might like get there again, who knows. But I think it's a learning process for myself to be more strong in my own shoes, be more strong in my own feelings, and it's fine, and I don't always have to accommodate other people and their interests and what they want to talk about. And you know, this is not actually their problem, this is also my thing. Like I think that like a lot of stuff about this, so all I can do is, you know, live for me, set my own boundaries, learn in the way that I want to learn, and keep an open mind and be vocal about it. Learn. So yeah, that was just my little talk about this. So yeah, just got my brain out there, what's happening in my brain about this topic. So uncomfortable topic for me, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this topic. Scary topic, right? I'm asking for people's opinions, oh my god. But yeah, I'm curious, like, are there people out there like me that do get uncomfortable in this topic, like this topic of politics or religion, or like basically very opinionated people, or forming their own opinion, or being insecure about that, or needing a certain environment or feeling of safety to be able to talk about these topics? Do those topics even feel safe to you for yourself to talk about, or does it give you a very unsafe feeling? Because I think that's also like a big topic, actually, isn't it? Worldwide, a big topic, how politics can make you feel unsafe to talk about that. Even for me in like a Western civilization, like it still does feel unsafe to talk about that. I feel like you can just be like shut down if you have like the wrong opinion. Yeah, I'm curious. Am I alone in this, or do people resonate? If you've gotten this far in this video, thanks for watching. Goodbye. And one more thing about politics. Isn't everything about politics in life? It's also like, I'm thinking when I think about the word or words talking about politics, I always think about like the political people making world changing decisions, right? But in reality, politics is also like how we think we should behave in society? Or is that more like our norms and our values? Or is that also maybe politics? I mean, feminism is politics. So isn't talking about a certain belief about how we as humans should treat each other, or talking about emotions, or isn't that also politics? I mean, and that way I can say I can enjoy talking about politics, but then it's more like, which type of politics, you know? Just need to get that off my chest. That's an interesting thing. Perhaps I should research that a little bit.